Yep, so good. So far, so good. Right, let's do this little chappy over here. Here we go. The little one in front of him. And just little touches, little suggestions of this herd of horses that are galloping through the dust. It's a cake. Just needs a little bit of pre-planning. If you've sorted out your colours beforehand and plan it. I always plan things in my head before I actually do the painting, so I kind of pre-paint it in my mind before I actually jump in and do the painting itself, and it really helps if you can do that. I also tend to work when I'm outside and I see scenes that look like they could be good paintings. I always imagine what colours I would be using and kind of pre-plan things in my head, and then I know if it's going to work or not usually. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes, you know, you make a mess of it and you think, oh, okay. But that's how you learn, so it's all a learning curve. We have to start somewhere. I think these look quite effective, really. But once we get the dark ones on in the foreground, then that's really going to sort of make sense of those in the background. I'm just going to add a little bit more colour to these because they're a little bit too washed out. They're only kind of suggestions of these horses out in the background there. But once we get the foreground horses in, it'll all make sense. So let's just put a little bit more blue in some of these. Just add a little bit of depth. Let's add more blue in there. A little bit in there. Okay, how's that looking? Okay, so I can start coming forward now. So I'm going to do the next line of horses, which have got more masking on them. I'm going to switch, I think, let's switch to the burnt umber and do a couple of horses with the burnt umber. I'm going to be careful with this one because that area is still wet, so I'm just going to paint in this one, and I just want to do it very loosely. I also want their feet to disappear into the dust, so I'm just going to touch it with a tissue so that it goes off into the dust. We can also lift out a highlight on the back, so perhaps I'll do that. That's still a little bit wet, but that works. Okay, next up, let's do this little jobby up here, this little chap. I've got some masking on the one in front, so I don't need to worry about that too much. I know his back comes off here a little bit ghostly. Let's drop in a bit of blue again, bit of that ultramarine blue. These colours are going to dry a lot lighter, so in the middle I think I'm going to keep them with the burnt sienna, as if they're getting more light on them in the middle of the page. And again, I'm going to just soften that area there. This shouldn't take you very long to do, just get through it and get these little figures blocked in. That one's got a little white blaze on his head, so I'll keep that one. Excuse me. Down here again, I'm going to lose that foot in the dust. A little bit of blue again in there. When the blue mixes with the brown, it actually makes a lovely grey. So, you know, just experiment with the colours, because it's quite a fun thing to do, and you do learn about colour mixing by doing this as well, and what colours work together. And remember, it's only a piece of paper, so, you know, if you make a mess of it, just start again, do another one. I try not to get too precious when I'm doing new paintings, because you can get really precious and then you get frightened about starting a painting, which we all do at times. But, you know, just go for it. There's nobody watching. This is going to take a little bit of time, but it's kind of worth it. I'm going to try and get this all done in one go, and just vary the colours as I'm going along. That one behind's still quite wet, but I have got masking fluid there, so I'm going to take a chance and come in here and paint this little chap at the background there. Bit of blue down here. Lift a bit of a highlight out again. While it's still damp, you can lift highlights out. Let's get a highlight out there. Highlight out there. When this is all dry, I'll remove the masking fluid, and some of these whites will probably look too white, so I'll just knock them back a bit with the damp brush, if that is the case, and if not, all well and good. Right, let's continue with this horse here. They're just kind of suggestions of shapes. Don't get too het up, because it does read as a horse when you've got them all together, when you've got lots of figures like this in a painting. Your eye actually makes up the lines and fools itself into thinking, oh, that's a horse. Although anatomically it's probably not terribly correct, but this one's going to be a little bit darker at the front, because that is the shade on this area, down his back leg there, under here. Wash off my brush. I'm just going to damp this so that his hooves disappear into the dust. So if you're not very good at drawing hooves, then that's kind of a good way. It's a good cheat. Yeah, I'll go back to this one. Let's do this one. Let's make him blue. Let's do a blue horse and add some brown to it, so he really stands out from the crowd. Right, I'm going to wash my brush off, pick up a little bit of burnt sienna, come in there with some burnt sienna. I love the way these colours work together. They work really, really well, because they're all earth colours. They're kind of similar pigments. And again, soften out, give it dusty feet, pull that over. Next, yeah, I'm running out of blue here. I'll have to mix up some more blue. Let's do another one. Get in there. Isn't this fun? Bit of burnt sienna again. So I've got a bleed going on from that horse into this one, but I quite like that. So it's a happy accident. They're allowed to. I like happy accidents. Soften it out, soften it out. Okay, looking good. Let's do this little one in the background and make him quite pale, I think. And on the back of that one as well. This one comes down here. Yeah, I'm going to make that a bit more shady as it comes down into his hooves. Maybe that one as well, give him a little bit of shade on there.